Ted, brand Peacock series that dropped a couple of weeks ago on the streaming service. This show is 7 episodes long. We have the longest episode being the first episode, which is nearly 50 minutes long, being the shortest episode being episode 5, which is 33 minutes long. This TV show is a prequel to the two original films, the first Ted in 2012 and the second one in 2015. Once again, Seth MacFarlane returns to both direct, write, and star as Ted in this show. And now Max Burkholder takes over for Mark Wahlberg, playing the younger version in the 90s of John Bennett. But we're with John's family this time around. You have his mom, played by Alana Ubach, his dad, Maddie, played by Scott Grimes, and Johnny's sister, Blair, played by Georgia Wiggum, as they go through junior year of high school together. The show, as I said earlier, 7 episodes. It also is TV matured. So welcome back to a brand new TV show review here on Mac Talks Movies. I'm talking about Ted. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. I talk movies, TV shows, movie rankings, out of theater reactions, and box office every single Tuesday. So please subscribe, ring the bell. We're so close to 200 subscribers. Comment down below. What are your thoughts on the Ted series? If you've seen it, where does this rank for you in the Ted franchise? Is it better than 2, better than 1, worse than both? Should they do a season 2? Let me know if you have not seen it. Tell me, are you going to rewatch the original 2 Teds, or are you missed the boat, so you missed the boat? Let me know in the comment section. Like the video, the thumbs up button. That is how you support this channel as well. Helps the algorithm, so more people can get recommended to these videos. So I was very excited for this show. If you're not familiar with me, I am a massive fan of the original Ted film. It came out when I was 10 years old, but I saw it either that year or the year after. You can question who was letting me see that young of age, but I've rewatched Ted all the time. And then when I was 13, I did see Ted 2 in theaters, and I've seen both movies multiple times, clips from both movies a billion times. And I've kind of been shocked that they've never gone back to Ted. Again, it's weird that it's taken them 9 years to return to this franchise. Now, MacFarlane obviously has been very busy, but he has not been in the writer's chair for Family Guy for so long. But it makes sense to do a Ted series because obviously MacFarlane has created one of the most successful shows of all time in Family Guy. And Ted felt like a right thing to do for a TV show. But luckily, I did not see a single trailer, though, for the show coming into it. I saw maybe the teaser trailer, but not a lot of the jokes that are in the show. So I was very excited to binge it. And let's get into my thoughts on Ted. And overall, this is a enjoyable 7 episodes. Seth MacFarlane is definitely my type of comedy. I love Family Guy. I love the first Ted. I think the second Ted is kind of a mixed bag for me. There's some scenes that are hilarious in the movie. The overall plot of Ted 2 not nearly as interesting as the plot for Ted 1. Not even close, but there are, of course, moments in Ted 2 that are laugh out loud funny, but not consistently throughout the entire movie. But this show is a perfect idea because we're going back 20 years before the original film. So obviously it's a tough task for Max Burkholder, who is supposed to live up to basically Mark Wahlberg in the first 2 movies. But overall, I think the reason why this show works, in my opinion, both it is really well cast, and 2, it really is about the family. What made the first film so great, well, yes, the jokes and the edgy, raunchy humor was on display for sure, but you cared about the big 3 dynamic of Ted, Johnny, and Laurie, played by Mila Kunis in the original film. And in the second film, you kind of lost that once, Kunis could not return for the second movie, and they kind of just jumbled up a plot line to try to do a different big 3 with Amanda Seyfried, but that did not work as well as it did in the first film. And what this show does is this show is entirely focused on this big 5 of the Bennett family. Now, obviously, you have Johnny and Ted, but the new character of Blair, who is Johnny's cousin, who's now living with the family. Then you have Maddie and Susan, and they're all very well cast, all very funny, and have great chemistry together. And overall, you do actually care about all of these family members. I think the show did a really fine job setting you up with this world and the family, a family that you have no idea what they're like because we never really touched that outside of the opening segment of the original movie. Um, but they did a really nice job doing this family. Now, overall, Burkholder has the toughest job of everyone because, again, his older version is Mark Wahlberg. And Burkholder is really good in the show. I wasn't thinking once about Mark Wahlberg in a good way when watching this show. Burkholder has great chemistry with McFarlane, who's obviously voicing our teddy bear in this show. And Burkholder is fantastic. He's basically the co-lead of the show, but the live action, physical human performance lead of the show. And he is fantastic. I think after the first episode, I was like, wow, I'm really digging this performance. And Burkholder is terrific throughout the entire show. But what's key is his chemistry with McFarlane, who's obviously off screen doing the voice, but also McFarlane directs a lot of the episodes, and he's also obviously one of the head writers for the show. But the chemistry is there between McFarlane and Burkholder. Also, Scott Grimes as Matty Bennett is a scene stealer. He is maybe the most edgy, not PC character, maybe just like Ted of the entire show. And he says stuff. And again, this show knows exactly what it is. If you're a fan of Ted, if you're a fan of Seth MacFarlane humor, which is very edgy, and I think the reason it's really sad, in my opinion, that we don't really get this type of humor anymore. It's so rare to feel this edgy, over the line type humor because we live in a day and age now where everyone somehow gets offended by humor. It's been a big talking point in stand-up comedy, and just we don't see many comedy movies anymore because people are afraid to offend people. And I think what this show does so well is that it pokes fun at everyone. They're not going after one group, one gender, one race, one religion. They go after everyone. And as someone who's Jewish, they make a lot of Jewish jokes in the show that was hilarious. I just think that Seth MacFarlane, what Family Guy has done for such a good time, long time, and obviously what Ted has done for now 12 years now, is they poke fun at everyone. No one's left out of the humor. No one's left out of being the butt of the joke or laughing at someone. I think that's why the show works and why everyone has loved Seth MacFarlane's comedy for 25 years now. And MacFarlane is hilarious. Ted himself, the character, is hilarious. Whenever he is on screen, the show is going. Now, every episode, basically, the cast gets split up at a particular point. Most of the time, John, Ted, and probably Blair sometimes are usually the three that are doing something, and then the parents are doing something else. They get mixed matched throughout the episode, but mostly it's Johnny and Ted, and the rest of them are doing their own thing. I think from a structural perspective, it sometimes isn't great that we have to split up the main cast every episode. I think there could have been more episodes with the five of them together doing something together. Literally every episode, they are split up. I think it's a problem from a structural perspective. And I really enjoyed Blair Bennett, the new character played by Georgia Wiggum, who is excellent in the show. But her problem is from a writing perspective, she basically has the same story arc in every episode. What I mean is she is playing a 2024 person and their views into the 90s. And I think sometimes it's a bit over the top, but I enjoyed her comedy going off of a very PC character in her versus a very not politically correct person in her Uncle Matty. But she does it every episode with Maddie. And there's literally an episode, I think halfway through, where they resolve an issue and then she still keeps nagging on him for episodes to go. I think there could have been more fresh way to tell her arc in every episode. There are times where it works, but it does feel very repetitive. But overall, this is truthfully a great time to watch a show. This is my type of humor. I was laughing out loud most, if not every single episode. In particular, I love the first episode of the show. The second episode was pretty good. And the finale episode, I really enjoyed. The last joke of the entire series is fantastic. I do think there easily could be a season 2. I'm not going to go into spoilers, but I think they easily could go into season 2 because this show just spans junior year of high school. If they could easily, if this gets enough viewership, do a season 2 in senior year of high school, and I would be here for it because I love this franchise. I love Ted and Seth MacFarlane's humor. So overall, I'm going to give Ted on Peacock. Yeah, I'm going to go 4 out of 5. I'm going to go 75%. for Ted. A very enjoyable show, definitely made for me. A lot of nostalgia, but definitely made for me. So what are your thoughts on Ted, which is streaming on Peacock? Let me know, subscribe, ring the bell, and I'll see you guys.